Alright, well, he just introduced me, so I don't have to say my name.
It's a cool sweatshirt.
Thanks. Well, it doesn't really, it's really cold in here.
Yeah, it looks useless.
It is. It's like a spring thing, I guess. So, I got a confession, I guess. Alright, well, I identify as an atheist. Raise your hand.
Oh!
Gasp, an atheist? No. Well, and I'm also a skeptic. I'm very skeptical of things. Recently I met a friend, and you know, we were playing pool. And let's just say her name's Charlie because that's her name. And she asked me what's my sign. And I told her, I said Scorpio. And she asked what's my birthday. And I said October 15th. Hoping that she would somehow imprint or inscribe a, okay, yeah, that totally makes sense because he is a Scorpio and blah, 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 blah. In reality, I'm a Leo, I'm sorry. Fuck you. But I did this for a reason. And I'm gonna explain it using a beat poem that I just happened to memorize. I didn't make this. It's the author is Tim Minchin, and it's called Storm. Yeah. Inner North London, top floor flat. Tall white walls, white carpet, white cat. Rice paper partitions, modern arts and ambition. The host's a physician, bright bloke. He's got a practice and his girlfriend's an actress, an old maid of ours from home, so they're always great fun. And for dinner we've come. The fifth guest is an unknown. She's just arrived here from Australia and she's moved to North London. She's the sister of someone or has some sort of connection. At introduction, I'm struck by her beauty. She's irrefutably fair with dark eyes and dark hair. But as I sit, I admit I'm a little bit wary because I see the tips of the wings of a fairy, you know, tattooed on that popular area just above the derriere. And when she says I'm Sagittarian, I confess a pigeonhole starts to form and is immediately filled with pigeon when she says her name is Storm. At first, conversation is bright and lighthearted, but it's not long until Storm gets started. You can't know anything. Knowledge is merely opinion, she says, sipping her Cabernet Sauvignon vis-a-vis some unhippily empirical comment made by me. Not a good start, I think. We're only on pre-dinner drinks. And across the room, my wife widens her eyes and silently begs, be nice. A matrimonial warning not worth ignoring. So I resist the urge to ask Storm if knowledge is so loose a weave of a morning when deciding to leave her apartment by the front door or the window on the second floor. The food is delicious, whilst Storm, avoiding all meat, we happily sit and eat as the doctor slightly pissedly holds court on some anachronistic aspect of medical history when Storm suddenly interrupts, but the human body is a mystery. Science just falls in a hole when it tries to explain the nature of the soul. My hostess throws me a glance. She, like my wife, knows there's a chance I'll be off on one of my rare but fun rants. But I shan't. My lips are sealed. I just want to enjoy the meal. And although Storm is starting to get my goat, I have no intention of rocking the boat. It was becoming a little bit of a wrestle because, like her meteorological namesakes, Storm has no concern for our vessel. Pharmaceutical companies are the enemy. They promote drug dependency in fear of the natural remedies that are all our bodies need. They're immoral and driven by greed. Why take drugs when herbs can solve it? Why take pills when homeopathic solvents can resolve it? I think it's, you don't have to do it anymore.
Okay, cool.
You guys are like, oh, this hurts. Arthritis. Shit. I think it's all time we return to natural medical alternatives. And try as I like, a small crack appears in my diplomacy dike. By definition, I begin, alternative medicine, I continue, has either not been proved to work or been proved not to work. Do you know what they call alternative medicine that works? Medicine. So you don't believe in any natural remedy? On the contrary, Storm, I took a remedy before I came to tea, derived of the bark of a willow tree. It's got a weird name, what is it? Aspirin? Ah, yes, aspirin, which I paid about $1 for down at the drugstore. The debate briefly abates as our hostess collects plates, but when they return with dessert, Storm firmly asserts, Shakespeare said it first. There are more things that exist in life than in your philosophy. Science is how we're just trained to view reality. It doesn't explain love or spirituality. How does science explain psychics, auras, the afterlife, the power of prayer? I'm becoming aware I'm just staring. I'm like a rabbit trapped in the headlights of vacuous crap. Maybe it's the Hamlet she just misquaffed, or the 5th glass of wine I just quaffed, but my diplomacy dyke groans, and the asshole held back by its stones can be held back no more. Look, Storm, I don't mean to bore you, but there's no such thing as an aura. Reading auras is like reading minds, or tea leaves, or star signs, or meridian lines. These people aren't applying a skill. They're either lying or mentally ill. Same goes with people who think they can hear God's demands, or magical healers who have healing hands. By the way, why do we think it's okay for people to talk to the dead? Isn't that totally fucked in the head? Lying to some poor woman whose child has died? Telling you're in touch with the other side? I think that's fundamentally sick. Do we need to clarify that there's no such thing as a psychic? What are we, fucking two? Do we really think Horton heard a who? Do we really think Santa gave us gifts that Michael Jackson didn't get facelifts? Are we still so stunned by circus tricks that we think the dead would want to talk to pricks like John Edward? He's a mind-reader person, whatever. Storm, to her credit, despite my derision, keeps firing off cliches with startling precision, like a sniper using bullets for ammunition. You're so sure of your position, but you're just closed-minded. I'm sure you'll find your faith in science and tests is just as blind as the faith of a fundamentalist. Wow, that's a good point. Let me think for a bit. No, wait, my mistake. That's absolute bullshit. Science adjusts its views based on what's observed. Faith is the denial of observation so that belief can be preserved. If you show me, say, homeopathy works, I will change my mind. I will spin on a fucking dime. I'll be embarrassed as hell, but I will run through the streets singing, "It's a miracle! Take physics and bin it." Water has memory, and though it can remember the long-lost drop of onion juice that seems infinite, it somehow forgets all the shit it's had in it. You show me how it works and why it works, and when I recover from the shock, I will take a compass and carve fancy that on the side of my cock. Everybody's just staring now. Whatever. Dug this far down, so I say, in for a penny, in for a pound. Life is full of mysteries, yeah, but there are answers out there, and they won't be found by people sitting around looking serious and saying, "Isn't life mysterious? Let's sit here and hope. Let's call up the fucking Pope. Let's watch Oprah interview Deepak Oprah." If you want to watch telly, you should watch Scooby-Doo. That show was so cool, because every time there was a church with a ghoul or a ghost in the school, they looked beneath the mask, and what was inside? The fucking janitor dude ran the water slide. Because throughout history, every mystery ever solved has turned out to be not magic. Does the idea that knowledge exists frighten you? Does the idea that one afternoon on Wikifucking-pedia might enlighten you, frighten you? There's a notion that there might not be a supernatural so blow your hippie noodle that you stand in the fog of your inability to Google? I mean, isn't this enough? Isn't this beautiful, natural, unfathomably infinite world enough? How do we all fail to realize this? That we have to diminish it with cheap man-made myths and monsters? If you're so into your Shakespeare, lend me your ear. To gild refined gold, to paint the lily, to throw perfume on the violet is just fucking silly. Or something like that. Or what about Satchmo? I see trees of green, red roses too. And fine, if you wish to glorify Krishna and Vishnu in a post-colonial, bottled up and labeled kind of way, well, whatever, that's okay. But here's what gives me a hard on. I have a tiny, insignificant speck of carbon. I have one life, and it is short and unimportant. But thanks to recent scientific advances, I get to live twice as long as my great great uncles and aunts is twice as long to live this life of mine. Twice as long to love this wife of mine. Twice as long with friends and wine and sharing curries and getting shitty at good-looking hippies with butterflies on their spines and fairies on their titties. And if perchance I have offended, think but this and all is mended. It may as well be 10 minutes back in time for the chance you'll change your mind. Thanks.
I don't know why I'm clapping for myself.